And children, the story that I'm going to read to you today is about two men named Nadab and Abihu. And Nadab and Abihu were priests to the children of Israel. They were ministers. They were also the sons of Aaron, who was the high priest. But in this story, Nadab and Abihu do something that they weren't supposed to do, and they get punished for it. And let's look at the story and see if we can understand what it was that they did wrong. The story is from the book of Leviticus, chapter 10. And then Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his censer and put fire in it, put incense on it, and offered profane fire before the Lord, which he had not commanded them. So fire went out from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. And Moses said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord spoke, saying, by those who come near me I must be regarded as holy, and before all the people I must be glorified." So Aaron held his peace. Amen. So it's a very simple story. It says that Nadab and Abihu, these two priests, took their censers and offered fire before the Lord. And I have a censer here. It's a very simple censer. Really what it is just a bowl, a metal bowl on the end of a chain. And what you do with the censer is you'd put hot coals in it, and then you'd put incense on top of the coals. And incense is something that smells sweet or smells strong and beautiful when it's burned. It probably would have been a powder or a resin from a tree or an oil or something like that. And when you put it on the coals, it gets hot and it sends up these clouds of beautiful smelling smoke. And that was a way that people worshipped the Lord. The chain on the censer is really just so that you can carry it, because if there was really hot coals in here, it would get much too hot to touch. I'm not going to put coals in it, but I do have a candle in there that I'll light just so that there's a fire in there. So Nadab and Abihu brought their censers with incense to worship the Lord. And that was part of how people worshipped at that time. But the thing was, the Lord had told the priests that when they brought incense, they were supposed to light the fire in their censer from the fire that was by the Lord's altar. They were supposed to take the fire from the altar. But Nadab and Abihu didn't do that. They lit their fire from any old place out in the camp. And so it was called profane fire, which means unclean fire. And because they brought unclean fire in their censers, it said that when they went close to the Lord, fire went out and they died. Now that can be a little bit confusing, because even though Nadab and Abihu did something that they were told not to do, it doesn't seem that bad, does it? And the thing is, the truth is, no, the Lord doesn't really care about things like where the fire in our censers comes from. He doesn't care how we light those candles. To understand this story, to really understand it, we have to look at what it means in the spiritual sense. Because in the spiritual sense, it's a story about something that's very important. In the spiritual sense, the story is all about love. That's what fire stands for. Fire stands for our love, because the love in our hearts is warm and burns bright like a flame. The fire that the Lord wants us to have in our hearts is the love that comes from Him and from heaven. But a profane fire or an unclean fire, that stands for selfish love. And what does selfish love look like or feel like? Selfish love is when we say, what I want is what matters, and I don't care what anybody else wants. I'm going to make sure I get my way. I'm not going to help other people. You all need to think about me, but I don't need to think about you. That's selfish love. And sometimes people try to take that selfish love up to the Lord and say, this is okay, right? I'm allowed to be this way, right? I'm here worshiping you, so that makes me a good person. And it doesn't matter if I treat people selfishly. It doesn't matter if I look at people and have contempt for them. It doesn't matter if I have hatred in my heart or if I break the 10 Commandments, because I'm a good person. Look, I'm here in church. But is that really how it works? Not at all. Not at all. And that's what the story is showing us. We can't take selfish love to the Lord and ask Him to make it not matter. We can't take selfish love to the Lord and make Him say that it's okay. Just because we go to church sometimes, because we worship the Lord sometimes, doesn't make it all right to look down on another person, to be cruel to another person, to break the 10 Commandments. What the Lord wants is for us to worship Him by asking Him to give us a clean love in our hearts. He wants us to come to Him and say, Lord, help me love other people. Help me look around and try to serve other people instead of thinking about me and what I want. That's offering a clean fire to the Lord, when we ask Him for a clean love. And that works out a whole lot better for everybody than trying to take our selfish love to the Lord and ask Him to make it okay. Amen.